but those boys kicked him out. So as much spin that's going on around, again, I'm not advocating this or that, but I'd advocate for this more than I'd advocate for that. That's 100% sure. And I advocate for that unapologetically. Yeah. Because my community has been led too long by those who have used us for our compassion. And again, we talk, Mel, and we talk matter-of-factly this way because this is what runs and builds America. The relationships between each other, and somebody's taking and spinning that. Here's another thing that's odd, Mel. Did you notice? Every place on the planet that's having elections, somehow they're all coming in 49.6 versus 49 point.
Oh, yeah.
You mean nobody is so... A guy says to me, hey, Al, is everybody stupid? I said, no. That's the narrative that would be taught to us, that, these guys are stupid, those guys are stupid. No. You put out what you want it to seem. People know in masses what hurts. You're telling me we go to the supermarket and eggs are $4.50 where there was $2 a year ago, but yet people are still undecided on what they want for their own interests. That's a...
Well, good evening, folks. We got him back. It's been a while since he's been back, actually, man. He's long overdue. Pilgrim Warrior is definitely a force to be reckoned with. He's like Malcolm X on steroids, as far as I'm concerned. Guys, before we go any further, right down below, hit the pause button, go to Rumble, and follow us over there as quickly as humanly possible. Do it now. QFS1776.com is the Holy Grail. Not maybe, definitely. We're going to burn down the old system. And out of the ashes will rise the phoenix, and out of the phoenix will create the newest transfer of wealth, the biggest transfer of wealth you'll ever see. T-shirts, you got to get yourself decorated, all right? People need to know what it is that Jassar and Asar and QFS and XRP, XLM, XDC, what is that stuff? And you send them directly to QFS1776.com. Also, Unify TV, right down below. If you want certain things to happen, you got to redirect your money, guys. If you want certain entities to disappear, just take your money and shift it and go this way and give it to Unify TV instead of giving it to Netflix. With a little bit of luck and with a little bit of loudmouths like myself, we're going to be able to make Unify TV the next Netflix, except we're bringing a whole new genre of movie producers and storytellers and drama tellers, and we're going to tell you the story of it's on heaven. What's that saying goes? On earth as it is in heaven. There you go. On earth as it is in heaven. Okay, on earth as it is in heaven. And gold and silver right down below. Okay, don't forget to use the promo code Mel Carmine, and the Telegram groups also down below. The hardware wallets down below. Billions of dollars have gone missing off the hardware wallets. You understand why? Because there's a lot of hackers out there. The Telegram groups, we got 30,000 patriots that will take you by the hand and teach you exactly how to buy the assets, where to store them, how to store them, all that stuff. And also, if you need $10,000 worth of XRP or you need $1 million worth of XRP, no, there's no cap. I mean, we could get you as much as you want, literally. I'm the guy you come see. QFS1776 at Gmail. Put in the subject line, I need a large amount of XRP, and we'll help you out with that. Anyway, brother, listen. I know that we're going to talk a little bit about unity and the distraction, 2022, and we're still looking at 37-cent XRP. I mean, manipulation, etc., on steroids. What's going on in your world, brother? Talk to us.
Not much, man. It's good to be here, man. I really appreciate that. The things I said were valuable enough to, inquire about again, and I feel the same way about you. I'm absolutely fascinated that. Step aside, no shade on churches and things of that nature, but step aside, as I said before, from the most unlikely of sources, here comes the truth. Stomping and carrying the personality with it that was made for this sort of thing.
Right.
You can't be meek out in this world. You can't be sensitive. You can't be soft, because those who are doing wrong are not being meek or being soft. Yeah, but hey, let me ask you about the XRP. You said $5 grand, 10 grand. What's the minimum purchase that a person could make through you on that trade?
Minimum is 10,000, and obviously we've had some ladies step up with a lot of money, but the biggest customers I have are women for some reason. I don't understand why, but that's what it is. Women seem to see this even better than men for some crazy wild reason. But yeah, we've had quite a few guys too step up with hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Right,
And,
right.
yeah, no, we have over, I would say, conservatively, probably three, maybe even 400 satisfied customers, which some of which been on camera doing testimonials, basically saying, yeah, your broker's the way to go. It's we're spoiled, we'll never do it any other way. And many of them actually go back 3, 4, 5 times and make multiple purchases, and that's happened many, many times. Yeah.
I tend to like to watch Brad. When the CEO of a major company that's involved like this seems to have that much confidence that he has, maybe he can't say but so many things, but he when you watch that, as I hear people say, put your pennies next to their dollars.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Most of us out here just have pennies, but we know what's going on. We're not stupid. We're following, the vibration that's moving. Some of us are connected to it. Now I understand why the Bible says he that has an ear, because if you hear it and you know something is wrong, you follow your nose.
Yeah, absolutely.
And some people don't have that. So you have what Jesus put up, which is along the way in your journey, there are signs posted.
Yep.
And those signs say, in order to get here, do this. Now, if you don't look at those signs or you don't pay attention to those signs, it's really not a whole lot more that, instinct, or if your instinct is not sharp because it's clouded with the foods and the crap that you're eating, because make no mistake about it, once you clear yourself up, you'll hear more. Right. You'll see more. But if you don't, I guess you could say God, whoever you choose, or we all choose to believe, Allah, God, Buddha, I guess he's merciful enough to give us those signs. So if you see a sign that, like, for example, that says everybody that is somebody who you ask about XRP acts like they don't know about it. Yeah. That itself says, I may not know the other side of it, but that part that I do know in the gutter where I operate, that makes me lift my head up to see what's going on. And that's what I say about Trump. When you take a man who's that controversial, a man with that much power, a man who is aggressive, what some may call arrogant, some may call narcissist, some may call confident. When you take a man with that much confidence, it's not easy, and that much money in those circles being kicked out. That's a sign.
Right.
That he should be in the same sandbox with those boys, but those boys kicked him out. So as much spin that's going on around, again, I'm not advocating this or that, but I'd advocate for this more than I'd advocate for that. That's 100% sure. And I advocate for that unapologetically. Yeah. Because my community has been led too long by those who have used us for our compassion. And again, we talk, Mel, and we talk matter-of-factly this way because this is what runs and builds America. The relationships between each other, and somebody's taking and spinning that. Here's another thing that's odd, Mel. Did you notice? Every place on the planet that's having elections, somehow they're all coming in 49.6 versus 49 point.
Oh, yeah.
You mean nobody is so... A guy says to me, hey, Al, is everybody stupid? I said, no. That's the narrative that would be taught to us, that, these guys are stupid, those guys are stupid. No. You put out what you want it to seem. People know in masses what hurts. You're telling me we go to the supermarket and eggs are $4.50, where there was $2 a year ago, but yet people are still undecided on what they want for their own interests. That's a sign. Yeah. That's another sign. Yeah. And there shall be signs and wonders.
Oh, absolutely. Well, here's the way I look at it. We all watch the screen, even don't even want to bring up that word about what happened during the recent contest. Let's call it that for a lack of a better term. Did anybody just catch that? You know what I mean? It's
I
like
think the saddest, and the saddest thing about that is, I said it before, shame on us if we allow these things to happen. I mean, it is becoming so blatant because the people are so asleep. The people are so fascinated with TikTok and all of these memes and agendas, men versus women, and all of these things that are going on, that they are literally to the point where they can just say it. And I think after a while, once certain things get dropped and the control happens, they might just say, the joke is on you guys. You should have got me when you had a chance. Because once you get locked into, I don't know if we can talk about that, that digital currency that we are the whole world is being pulled into. Once we get locked into that.
Well, the central bank digital currency, the one that they want to attach to programming, to, your social score, the one that says you're a good citizen, you're allowed to buy a loaf of bread, you're a bad citizen, and the door to the store won't even open because they recognize who you are. That system is not going to win, in my opinion. As a matter of fact, as far as I'm concerned, freedom is neither Democratic or Republican. Freedom is freedom, right?
Absolutely.
People recognize freedom. They don't recognize it as freedom being Democratic or Republican because there's, bad actors on both sides. I personally don't like being put in a box myself. I think of myself as, as a, not a libertarian, okay, not a liberal, but a libertarian, where I can choose and pick what I think without having a label of, independent or Republican or Democrat or whatever. But it's always about, the Yankees against the Mets, the Jets against the Giants. It's the women against men, black against white, yellow against blue. Give me a freaking break already with the bullshit. You know what I mean? I mean, we're onto you guys. We've been onto you guys for a long time. It's time to, put your arms down. People are awake. A lot of people are going to go away. You're not going to get away with this, as far as I'm concerned. I've said this a million times, and I'll continue to say it a million times. And when this party is over, when you start to see the military in the street, I tell people that's the time you need to take your champagne and start chilling it, because we're close. Then we're close, not before.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That central, I'm glad you brought up that central bank digital currency. I think that, remember a year ago, not only would they hide what central bank digital currency, they literally was saying, that's not real. We don't know what that is. Right. Suddenly, a year later, Jerome Powell is on national TV telling us we're going through a 12-week trial run, which somehow is going to end in March, which a few other things are said to happen in March. Unfortunately, with the celebration will come the depression. For some. And what we are trying to do, what Mel is doing, is blowing a trumpet. All of that stuff was written in the Bible. I'm sorry for people who say, well, we're waiting, we're still waiting. Listen, you pick up your phone, me and you on a video call, and people are saying, well, one day we'll be able to transport ourselves. We'll be able to have telepathy. Right. And while you're saying it, you're on a Zoom call. What do you think that is? It is man opening up his ability to do certain things. So, one day, chariot's going to come out of the sky, and you look up in the sky, and chariots are shooting across all the time. We just don't call them chariots. Yeah. So what I'm saying is, the bad is happening. It doesn't wait. It doesn't even pray. The good is praying. The good is waiting. No, it's waiting on you, because nothing in that small circle at the top had to wait. They did it. Now the good is waiting for unfortunately, you always use the word unity, because the good needs unity to be good. Evil doesn't need unity. It needs dissension. Absolutely. And it hasn't. So this is where we are now, where the only thing that the power that can be broken is through me you, and even in the state that we're in, just elevating in that state a little bit above. Look at you, man. I use you for an example. I'm sure your history. I know where you're from. People may not know what you went through. You got things I'm sure you're ashamed of. We from the same location. We from the same general area. But you know what? There's nothing wrong with getting up and getting better.
Absolutely.
And that's what you did. These people are to the point now where the truth does not even scare them. You know what scares them? Exposure. You can talk the truth all day long because the truth doesn't mean nothing. Hey, listen, eat this, squeeze this lemon in your drink, and you may be right. It may be a truth. But if I don't ingest it, the truth is not manifest until I make it manifest. Whatever that truth is, you could put a bullet to my head and say, hey, if I squeeze this trigger, well, no, I don't believe you. It's only truth when you make it truth. So in that case, you can speak truth, religion, politics all day long, and the people will say, yeah, you know what? You're right. I don't know what I'm going to do, and go right back to being what we are. This does not a solution make. And what happens after a while, you wear out your welcome.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, here's the thing. A lot of people don't understand that, you know, we live in a Constitution of America, and things are going to change. As a matter of fact, not to change the subject on you, but I want to talk about this briefly, because we're about to launch a constitutional course on our website, qfs1776.com, which is basically going to teach people how to become lawyers by using the Constitution of America, the original 1787 Constitution that was written by our forefathers, the Bill of Rights. And when you come out the other side, you necessarily don't have to have a diploma on the wall to say you are an attorney, and you don't have to go into court of law and defend yourself. It's like, hey, you know, you go to a karate class or you go to a kung fu class. At some point, you become a black belt. Okay, you have to go through some competitions, whatever. And just by doing it over and over and over again, and potentially maybe even landing in some courtrooms and being able to practice your craft and being able to use some of those fancy words that if the judges who are not really judges, they're just regular ordinary people like you and I, we're not allowed to give them really any esquire or any nobility. It says right in the Constitution. See, I got a green belt, second degree green belt on the Constitution. I know that much. You know, if they don't fly based on the words you tell them, they got to step the hell down. You know, you just took all of their power away. You basically fired them, and they have to give up their position. They have to give up their salary. They have to give up their pension. Okay. So they are terrified of you once you learn what we are getting ready to teach you. Right. When you come out the other side, you don't have to have a diploma to be somebody. Okay. Right. You could be somebody because you went through the process of learning, and nobody needs to give you a diploma to verify that fact. Right. The diploma exists here. It's your knowledge base. It's how you use it. Okay. It's like learning, you know, martial arts.
It is absolutely stunning. The wordplay and the babble that, again, Bible speaks of the Tower of Babylon, where there was a confusion of language. And I used to wonder, well, what's the big deal about confusion of language? He speaks Spanish, I speak English, that guy speaks Swahili. Now I understand what's happening, because you've taken words and you mixed and mingled them. And here's the big thing. When you make people voluntarily give up their rights, that is why they win, because they never forced you anything. Right. And simply make you voluntarily give up your rights, voluntarily give up your ID or things of that, make you understand or stand under people's authority. Like you said, judges are magistrates with words in it like magi. What does that mean? It sounds familiar. You add another letter to it. Sounds familiar. You know, when you look at words like cursive writing, things of that nature, that speaks to what you're talking about and what they've deceived nations with. And we voluntarily give up our power. And America is, unfortunately, is complicit in that. And the people are opening their eyes.
Well, they went out of their way. You know, they went out of their way to literally bamboozle us and create this entire educational system, which is a big bullshit story on steroids. and nobody knows nothing. People go to school and they have a chip on their shoulder. Look at me. I went to college. I'm better than you. Give me a break. Lose your chip on your shoulder. Do it now, because you ain't better than anybody. As a matter of fact, you're worse than most people because you've been brainwashed to the umpth degree. Okay. And, because you went to school and you learned those 18 fancy words that are so sophisticated. You think that makes you a better person than me? Right. I think not. I think you're making a very big mistake. Right. So you take an attorney, for example, who went to the matrix school. Okay. He doesn't even know that he's actually against you. You're hiring him to defend you $500 an hour or $5,000 an hour. He's there on behalf of the court system to destroy you.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I learned in the course. So look, at the end of the day, Margie and Jack Flynn, they went to, they went through several of these court proceedings to the point when they were living in New Mexico. And I've told this in several of my podcasts. The judge in New Mexico would meet them in the back room. He would look at the affidavit. He'd sign off on whatever it is that the politicians are trying to push through. It was dead on arrival. DOA, finished. Never went to trial. Okay. So I mean that's how good they got. 99.99% of the time, it never went to court. Then they wrote the affidavit for Delta United on that medical procedure. Okay, that we're not allowed to discuss. That people are totally against. Obviously, some people did it. Some people didn't want to do it, and they said, "Hey, my body, my choice." Right. And they basically wrote the affidavit, which I sent a copy of that to Gila Jed. I hope she reads it, because when you read the words that were constructed in that affidavit, and I could assure you that the lawyers from Delta and United read those words, and they went to the CEOs and the CFOs of those companies and said, "Guys, if we go to court with this, we are dead on arrival. We're finished." And that's it. And it was, those people got to keep their job. They didn't have to do the medical procedure. End story. End the story. That's a win. Okay. These guys have an impeccable record. Like if they were attorneys, they're almost practically undefeated, with a couple of cases of their students who maybe dropped the ball, but them themselves are completely undefeated. Never lost a case.
So that means, as you're saying, imagine if these attorneys pick up what understanding the legal jargon that they're already involved in, and unwind it and say, hang on. It only takes a minute. It's like they say a woman is pregnant and she's in excruciating pain in delivery, and the moment that baby's gone, the same with a tooth. I mean, you have horrible tooth pain, infected tooth, dentist is pulling it, you're screaming, you're in soprano singing, and as soon as that tooth is out, you want to grab and hug that dentist and kiss them, because it's like, listen, I've never seen such quick relief. That's what we have here. We're like a volleyball being held underwater.
Right.
All you got to do is get up, get away from the hands, and the ball's going to bounce right up.
Right.
This truth is already in every person. We're just one person doesn't want to be the odd man out. So he's not going to say so much in the crowd. Some people even believe what you're saying, but in the crowd, they'll disbelieve you, or they'll go against you, because they don't want to be the odd man out. Again, another story in the Bible where Nicodemus came at night to Jesus Christ. Because he didn't want the people to see him, because he came to recognize and realize. And this is what we're saying to the American people first, but to the world.
Right.
Come at night. It doesn't matter how you come. It is unity. It is everybody standing up and saying, hey, listen, I agree. If you don't do that, they have definitions, like you're saying, jargoned into the society to say, you agreed with us. Yeah. Like freaking electoral college. That's not, I want to vote. I want my vote to count. I don't need you to take my vote and determine whether it even means something, because it's all a part of a collective vote. I don't know.
Well, look what happened down in that country there, Brazil, right?
Oh, yeah.
You see what happened? So, and I said to the people, I said, wait until tomorrow, because I know the Brazilian people. I have quite a few friends that are Brazilian. I know the culture. I know how these people think. I know how they tick. I know pretty much a lot about them. And I said, watch tomorrow. I said, look at the size of the crowds tomorrow in the next couple of days. You'll see. And sure enough, it was a sea of people.
Today,
basically, we're disenchanted. We're
truckers, the convoys,
everything.
Yeah. Now, unfortunately, here in America, the world still hinges on us. They've never seen a people like this.
Yeah.
They've never seen, they don't understand our attitude. They don't understand our boldness. But again, the Bible, a candle hidden under a bushel is good for nothing.
Right.
We're going to wait until at the rate we're going, we're going to wait until the gates close. And then we're going to say, rah, 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 and want to run the streets. And it's going to be too late. And then you're going to realize that your enemy wasn't what you said in the beginning, the male, the female, the black, the white. You're going to realize who your enemy was. There are people up there, and they are in your face on TV. They are bankers. They are political leaders blowing kisses at people who are stealing people's money, propping up who they want to prop up. How do you prop up an exchange with at that level? And somehow you beat the drum from 2019, 3 years, beat the drum of somebody who's such an innocent, such a little doll baby type of kid, and the guy is a freaking monster.
Exactly.
He's propped up by monsters. Now, who's selling who out? We really don't know that. Yeah. But again, the covers pulled back. You see something, and shame on us if we let them go back and cover this thing back up. Come on, man. You stole $400 billion of people's money, and that's not on the news. But yet, listen.
Me personally, I would have done things a little bit different. I would, I got Al Capone blood running through my veins. You know what I mean? That's just the way I am.
Oh,
yeah. You can't change my DNA. My DNA is what it is. Me personally, and I said it a little bit different. Somebody else said it. I would have done it this way, and I agree with this guy. I said, if I was Trump, I would have completely not agreed with what happened in 2020. Number one, I would have said, no way, I'm not stepping down. Number two. Number three, I would have stormed every news station, national, international, in the world with the army, literally taking it over at gunpoint. I would have taken some of your favorite politicians and I would say, listen, I want you guys to watch very carefully now, because what I'm about to do with these people, I'm going to, administer this medical procedures that most of you don't want, because they're trying to impose it on you by saying it's a mandate. Mandate is not a law, but I'm going to do something for you. We got 10 politicians here, which we all love to hate because they're scum. Okay. Watch closely now. Boom. Give them three each and watch them drop. Say, would you like me to repeat that? Because I got 10 more politicians we like to get rid of.
You're taking it to the bridge. You're taking it to the bridge.
Am I getting through to you guys? Am I snapping you out of your media-induced coma what they want to do to you?
Right.
Oh, did you get the point? Did you get the point?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. America, on top of that piggyback, we see you. Gary Gensler, Sam Bankman-Fried, Jamie Dimon, the poor that you've been trampling over, that you're walking on, that you're taking money from. We see you.
Yeah.
Every corner of every ghetto, every corner of every suburb, every corner in America, you got it all covered up and coated with the BS of television media, the dragon propaganda that was signed by the first black president that we're supposed to be proud of. We're proud of him as a black man, but the man did some destructive things. We see you. We're tired of that. You're not going to put your finger in a puppet and walk people around in our communities anymore. You're not going to walk people around in the black communities anymore and make us look like animals. Keep putting on what you want the world to see about us. You got to listen. You ain't got no choice, because you could keep stomping and stomping. There's Mel telling you that. There's another guy from another corner saying that. We got your number. You're coating it with your propaganda. We see it all. That means the day that it's exposed, that means your day is over. You keep doing what you're doing. That's your job. But in the end, what's written in that book, the book that you won't say you believe, you claim you believe the Bible, you won't claim what you know that's in the Quran and the written scrolls that are showing what's happening now. You know it. Who you playing with? You've been playing with it in movies. You've been playing with it in X-Files. You've been playing with it in Utopia. You're playing with it. You know why? Because there's an agreement between God, whoever that is, Satan, whoever that is, if he exists, that you have to expose what you're doing. You have to be able to say, when that foot is on your neck in the final day, I told them, yet they chose to do wrong. How did you tell them? Well, we showed it on television. We put movies out. We put it in media so they could see it in open. But they were playing. They were anesthetized. They had drugs in their system. We drugged them up. They were eating wrong. Their minds were eating wrong. It's wake up time, America. There is no way out of what this person is doing, but we see you.
Yeah. And there's going to be hell to pay. There's going to be hell to pay. Nobody walks from this. Nobody.
You will not win, and you know it.
Yeah. You know, look, at the end of the day, if these people still think that there's a way out of this, man, only one word comes to mind: delusional. Delusional.
Mel, how can
everybody in the world, not just in the United States, but in the world, is going to want their pound of flesh?
I was just about to say, when in the world has every nation on the planet been dissatisfied? Every clip to Sri Lanka, to the Philippines, to Zimbabwe, to any place in Africa, to Europe, every place is hurting. That is absolutely astonishing leadership.
Yeah.
That is amazing leadership, that this man can get on TV and grab hold of an asset that has the ability to allow us to do what we need to do and think we're stupid enough not to know what you're doing. Who called in the favor? Who said suppress this so we can build this? Oh, you didn't think that the dirty among you, the people that you've been stealing money for and giving 0.001 interest? When I was a kid in high school thinking that 0.01 interest was good, I look at my little booklet of interest and made 4 cents in a year. Yeah. You didn't think we would ever wake up and see? We see you.
Well, Gensler, you know, he's loyal to, you know, the banking cartel. I mean, you know, it's pretty obvious. I mean, you know, you don't have this level of manipulation that is dictated by the banking cartel and Wall Street and everybody. This is the biggest titans in the financial industry, all jockeying for position all at the same time. And there's some big fights going on behind walls, guys, that we are not privy to. I can assure you that these are not, you know, the kinds of like negotiations, like, you know, just sitting across the table and trying to talk like a bunch of Ivy League college idiots. There's some shout and go. There's some guns laid out in the middle of the table. I can assure you of this, because this is how big business is done.
Yeah, and people are going to start turning up.
Oh, yeah.
It's not the first time they turned up. We know who turned up a lot of, you know, strange things and became president later, but there's going to be some turning. You know, listen, we got to make our prayers and keep our support for people like BitBoy. You know, he's going out there. He's swinging the axe, and like him or not like him, you got to like the truth.
Yeah, you know? BitBoy Crypto is a cool guy, and I could see myself eating some chicken wings and have some grease, you know, dripping down my elbow and having a Corona beer with him and all of that. Yeah. But the reality, he is not the commander in chief, even though he's appointed himself that to the XRP Army, because he put us through hell for newcomers for 3-4 years. He was talking some smack about XRP, and you know, if he has, unless he's deleted the videotapes, which I'm sure he's probably not, but if he has, you can go. If he hasn't, you can go back and watch his stuff 3-4 years ago, and you'll know.
But you know what? You're a Jersey man. You know, remember the big war between Arturo Gatti and Mickey Ward?
Oh, yeah.
What happened after 3 fights? They became the best of friends. So listen, you know, hey, we get it. If you can acknowledge that, you know, we banged it out and you didn't win that, and you obviously see you didn't win. Oh, yeah. And, you know, you come on in. But like you said, come in a little humble, you know. Come in
There'll
humble.
be more people coming out of the woodwork. The Max Kaiser is like the antichrist to XRP. He said that Brad Garlinghouse should be locked up and thrown in the gallows and all kinds of stuff recently. The Michael Saylors, they're all going to come out in 2-3 years, and I can assure you, AJ, these guys are going to talk about XRP as like the second coming of Christ. Okay, believe me when I tell you. And if you like to believe it or not, many of those boys already got some serious bags stashed, ready for the next ride, which will be the final ride. The XRP ride will be the final ride.
Remember that interview that Michael Saylor did with Frank Giustra on Stansberry Research? Okay, yes. They were debating gold.
Yes.
I think it's about a little over a year later, she brought Michael Giustra back. And the guy was just as poised.
Mm-hmm.
Guy was just as saying the same things that he said a year ago. And he said, we said 2 years. So let's give it another year.
Yeah.
He's a man of his word. So, there are standards. There's the gold standard, that you can never get away from.
Sure.
That's reevaluation. You talk about that quite a bit. When you talk about Nasara Jisara, and you're speaking about it now because probably a community will be curious to see who's this guy with dreads. So now you're going to get a different listener. So let's talk a little bit about that, if you don't mind, Mel. You know a lot more than me, but let me ask you this, just to hear it from your perspective. If a CBDC drops, well, when it drops, and it's not going to drop.
Says it like goes away?
No, when it comes. Comes. Which is basically UBI in a sense. You know what I mean? What is it if you hold digital assets outside of that system? How will you be able to use your digital asset if, say, for example, a stable coin or Fed coin or something is the standard that you must go through? So in other words, you hold XRP, you may have bought a book that they don't like. Well, you're sitting on so much money, but you still can't cash it in because you might be labeled.
But the thing is, they cannot force me to go through a central bank digital currency, and they can't force you, and they can't force anybody, because when the XRP, when the boys and girls upstairs say it's go time, I mean, like when I say the boys and girls, I'm talking about the boys and girls that are not going to go down to the spot down in Castro territory. When they say go, and they immediately transition, and the transitions, in my opinion, at that point is going to happen wickedly fast.
I believe
they go from the old world to the new world, going from the old world, new world, and now you got the universal basic income, like you guys always hear me talk about, and you got 90+% of people in Africa unbanked, 90+% of people in Indonesia unbanked, 90% of the people in Southeast Asia unbanked. And you got all that UBI money. You got all government to government moving money back and forth. And you got corporations to corporation moving trillions of dollars back and forth. And you got the remittances. And you got the ZIMs and the dinars and the dongs and the bolivars. All of this stuff has to travel through something. And that something is the XRP. They're not going to go, they're going to go like this. They're going to turn it up, and they're going to turn it up, and they're going to turn it up like within like a couple of weeks, a couple of months. It's going to happen wickedly fast. So now we get to the final crescendo, the final climax, and the XRP is worth $100,000. And I got, I'm worth billions. He's worth billions. Many of you guys out there are worth billions. And if you're getting, like I always say, 1/4 of 1% on billions of dollars every single month in interest, your money never leaves your wallet, because we're going to have something called Spark. You're just basically going to show that you have the money, proof of funds. You're going to create what's called leverage. With that leverage, they're going to pay you interest. You can get that interest paid in Casino Coin. You can get it paid in Hedera Hashgraph. You can get it paid in VeChain, whatever it is you want to get paid in, your interest. You're going to have so much money every month that you have to start a new humanitarian project because you got a problem. It's called too much money, right? Can the bank come to my house and say, oh, no, you got to use our central bank digital currency? I'll tell them, fuck off, basically. You ain't going to tell me, because I could pay for goods and services. There's QR codes. Everybody's got a wallet. I could send it directly to their wallet and bypass you. This is what the struggle is. Well, this is the struggle.
Yeah, and look at what BRICS is doing. BRICS, how many nations is BRICS now? It started out as 5.
Right.
How many nations is what it's saying? It's 40 nations or something like that now?
Now, I explained that in layman's terms like a pizza guy would explain it. So all you pizza guys out there and all your average people out there can understand what I just said because it's very elementary in nature, okay? And besides, I wouldn't know how to complicate stuff because I don't complicate stuff by nature. This is who I am. But the facts are, everybody understands that equation that I just blurbed out there. Mm-hmm. So now, if the central bank digital currency was the thing, and everybody could get their quadrillions and trillions of dollars and billions of dollars, and everybody could go out, sail off into the sunset and sing Kumbaya, there would be no manipulation of nothing. There would be no need to. But this is the struggle. This is the bankers know they're finished.
Yeah.
And they know this story that I just told you guys that's explained in pizza man terminologies. They understand that better than this dude times 1,000. And they know I'm right. Okay. So when they understand it, and I just explained, you guys understand it, you guys should be saying, exactly. Now I get it. Okay. Yeah. This is the reason why we're having a struggle. This is why there's a massive, massive market manipulation. And when this market manipulation goes away and they have to go, the whoever's left, benevolent beings, people want to see this planet thrive, and we will create heaven on earth as it is in heaven. Okay. And we got the Jasara and Nasara, and it's go time. I would say within probably 6 months to a year at the very outside, if they need that XRP to be worth $100,000, then that's exactly what it's going to be worth. You know why? Not because him and I want it to be worth, no, or you guys want it to be worth on. It's because they needed that number to do commerce. Period. End of story. I rest my case.
Right, right. And as quiet as it's kept, I hope the world, America, I hope we're seeing that everybody in the world doesn't operate like this. Everybody in the world doesn't have a nefarious intent with the money, like you're saying. Because you said something a long time ago that I said, I wonder if people caught what this man just said.
Yeah.
You said even what's going on now, you speak of humanitarian projects, and I know you got sources that you listen to, but you said even this is not going to last long.
No.
It's going to come a time where you won't even need this.
Technology is going to make absolutely everything around you null and void, obsolete inside of 20, 30 years. I say 20, 30 years because I always want to calculate Murphy's Law into the equation because humans are a bunch of F-ups by nature. We tend to screw things up. Intentionally or not, it doesn't matter, but we do screw things up. And there's always factions, and there's people always competing. And there's going to be certain people that don't want the money to disappear. And they might have some power. They might want to slow down the technology that's being rolled out. But at some point, it's going to be too late.
I tell people, if you don't believe me, Mel, DAI, all of these people who are saying this, for some reason, John Deaton, nobody seems to know what they're talking about. Right? People who know law don't seem to know what they're talking about. But if you don't believe that, just listen at the very moniker, a CBDC, Central Bank Digital Currency. You know what that tells me? That tells me that your local bank is afraid. That's telling me that the Federal Reserve wants to hold your bank account. A central bank. All of the banks got to play ball because there's really, like you're saying, if the central bank is holding your money, logically speaking, what would you need Bank of America for? What would you need HSBC for? What would you need JP Morgan for? So like you're saying, they're reeling it in, and I hear DAI say all the time, they're working a way to hand this whole crypto game over to the banks.
Yeah.
Crypto is nothing but a mathematical algorithm. It's an immutable mathematical algorithm that says this piece of this can never exist again if this number doesn't exist. It's that absolute.
Yeah. Well, the banks of the future, you've heard me say this on many of my videos now, are going to be called financial service centers. The XRP original army is still preaching central bank digital currency. They're still preaching banks. They're still preaching George Soros. They're still preaching Klaus Schwab. I don't know what planet some of these XRP army guys, original guys, and I respect some of them. I do, but they're still preaching something that is going to go away. It's going to go away, in my opinion. When this whole thing comes down, like I said to Dave from Digital, I forget his channel's name. I just did a video with him like 4 or 5 days ago. Not Digital Perspectives. That's Brad Kimes.
Yeah.
I can't think of the name as the name of it.
Yeah, you mentioned it.
I mentioned it earlier. But anyway, even he said, no, central bank digital currency is going to have a major problem. I didn't put him on a hot seat because I want to piss him off. I put him in the hot seat and asked him respectful questions in a respectful manner because I want the truth to get out there. I want the people out there saying, well, there's two arguments here. Someone's argument is on and someone's argument is off. No one has been able to prove to me till date, okay, that the central bank digital currency is going to survive. The central bank digital currency from each individual country will. So the central bank digital currency, in my opinion, is not going to see the light of day. If anybody could show me anything different, I'm pretty confident in my story and my belief structure that XRP would be every bit of $100,000 right now if the banks had figured out how to carve out their piece. But because they haven't been able to.
Yep.
You get the picture.
Yes, indeed.
And
a lot of stuff is coming out because this thing goes way back. This doesn't go back to 2008. 2008 is baby time. This goes back.
Well, listen, if the bankers were really, really on their toes and they were really, really smart, when they were approached by XRP Ripple and they said, hey, look at this thing we got. It's called XRP. It's going to solve all your problems. I hate to tell you, they would have made it so that the average investor like myself would not be able to get our hands on it.
Right.
I would not be sitting here right now telling you that I own, XRP, because I probably wouldn't. But because they were so arrogant and because they thought that they could go build their own XRP and they thought that they don't need Brad Garlinghouse.
Right.
This is the reason why, I'm pretty sure there'll be a buyout. I'm pretty darn.
Yeah, I think that way because like you said, they know what it's going to be valued at. They know that and also we're using the term they, but who are they to dictate what we all should have the free opportunity to have? If we get out of this, if we get out of this thing, those who get out of this thing with the new mind, and like you said, in the new world, when everything is renewed, forget the Great Reset. That's an understatement.
Right.
We're talking about that again.
Yeah. The money is definitely going to get revalued. Do I believe that there's some strong validity in these dongs and bolivars and zims? And when they revalue, they're going to revalue all of the global currency. And I do believe that a lot of these countries that were left out in the rain deliberately because United States government, the most powerful country in the world that likes to finagle the bagel, has left these countries out in the rain, has enslaved many nations on earth deliberately. Okay. At some point they're going to have to, how do you say the chickens are coming home to roost? And they are. A lot of people are talking some big numbers also on the dinars and the zims. I don't know. I really don't know. I'll take a 1 penny for every zim I own. I'll be fine with it. A penny.
You know what the disruption in the belly is of America? And America's a melting pot. So this guy's from Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka's going through. This guy's from Italy. This guy's from Nigeria. This guy's from Haiti. Haiti's in uproar right now. Like, you know what? Right here inside the belly of the beast.
Right.
Is where the same people who have that boldness, who don't play, who not going to let you get by with this. When it really comes down to the wire, when it really comes down to the wire in America, I like to believe that when we get to that point, We'll open our eyes and we'll start doing what we got to do, because these people are going to go back to their country. These people are going to go back and help those people that's been suppressed. And all it takes is the grain of a mustard seed. And that little grain can move mountains. I'm telling as many people as I can. Listen, you can invest in whatever you want to invest in.
Yeah.
You know,
if people really want to understand how the United States of America really operates from a political standpoint, they are gangsters. I mean, they could talk about the Sicilian mafia and the Chinese mafia and the Russian mafia. You know what? They ain't nobody more mafia than the American mafia government. Nobody. Okay. And if you want to understand how that world works and how it operates, okay, it's got a set of rules. And those set of rules happen to exist in a book called Confessions of an Economic Hitman. If you have not read that book, I highly urge you to do so, and then sit down with us and have a conversation about how the United States of America operates. And let's see who's the real gangster, who's the real mafiosi. All right?
The mafias you mentioned are more geared against one another.
Right.
You had the Italian mafia, the originators of the drive-by in Chicago. Right? Now you got Bloods and Crips killing just because what? Somebody got better sneakers on than you. You know, when does that stop, man?
Yeah, exactly.
The things are so corny and old that they're just like, they're sickening. You got the world laughing at you. You got the world asking. I had a woman who went to South Africa. She was a teacher. She came back and she said, I went there for one thing, but she said I was literally blown away.
Right.
She said, because the South African people ran up to me and they said, when are you going to help us? She said, what are you talking about? She said, you guys in America have freedom of speech. You can do what you want to do. You can say what you want to say. Why are you not doing it? We're waiting on you. True story. This is what was told to me. And I listened to that, and that stuck in my head from then until now, that shame on us if we sit back with all of this freedom. Who can get on and say what you just said, Mel, about their country? You go to Thailand. If you step on $1, they can arrest you or beat you in the streets.
Yeah.
We don't disrespect that king. Yet we have all of this freedom. We could say what we want to say. And by the way, beware, because your constitutional rights are no longer being taken away from you by the government. The government has now hired private institutions to do it for them. And
corporations.
They call it cancel culture. Yeah. They call it social media. Yeah. So now the government doesn't need to tell you, you don't have freedom of speech. You speak your freedom and all of a sudden, zip, next time you get on, oh, sorry, I can't say that again. So the government didn't need to tell you that. That's how slithery.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the things that you guys are going to learn inside our free course with the Flynns that's going to launch here at the end of November, is the fact that every single government agency is basically a corporation unto itself. It's got nothing to do, like the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve has got nothing to do with the United States government. Every agency, IRS, the Federal Reserve, the Treasury, every single one, the Department of Justice, the FBI, every one of them is an independent agency.
Absolutely.
Tied to a corporation, has nothing to do with your government. They are been put in place to screw you,
right,
royally. And because you went to the school of Rockefellers and they put all the linguistics together to brainwash you, you came out the other side to think and act and walk and smell a certain way so that you believe they're bullshit. And it's about all to go away. The house of cards is coming down. Because when this whole thing blows over, dude,
who in their right mind would take the root word corpse and make the word corporation in your plain sight?
Yeah.
You would take the word mortgage, which has the word mortify, mort, death.
Death, exactly.
Gauge, contract.
Yeah.
Directly in your face. Open up.
Life insurance. Life insurance. Life insurance is not life insurance. It would be called death insurance because you got to be dead to collect it. You know, it's all been designed to just keep us completely razzled and dazzled to the point where nobody knows which way's up, nobody knows which way's down. So you got to sort of take 2 steps backwards and start listening to people like me and AJ and all these teachers that are coming in front of you, because we're going to have to rewrite everything. We're going to have to re-educate everyone. We're going to have to burn these school systems down to the freaking ground. They're going to have to bring your kids through our course and teach them how to become an attorney without having the diploma, so that then when they go, and if they end up in court, because they'll be able to have a 17th degree black belt on how to write the proper affidavit, which is going to have enough legal teeth that will never see the courtroom. But if he does, they know how to go in there like a freaking ninja or Bruce Lee and destroy the court system. The old court system is going to disappear. Everything is about to change. Everything. And people don't realize it. People are still, as much as I like to believe that people are waking up, yeah, they're waking up. But let me tell you something. If you really, really, really are interested in waking up, go read the Constitution. There's an audio book on YouTube that I put inside my Telegram group many, many times, and I'll do it again today. Go read the Constitution. If you don't want to read, go listen to the audiobook Constitution and read it, listen to it over and over and over and over again. Understand it, know it, because that's how we win.
And Mel, shameless plug, but I'll tell you what, guys, you better sign up for the Mel's Telegram, because I'm telling you, you want to know about the stupid people, America. No, you let me tell you something. The people that are dropping gems on some of those farms, I flipped every single day of my life. I flipped through that thing for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, depending on what clips are put on. Your brothers, the people next to you, doesn't matter where you're from, they are saying things, they're videoing things, they're seeing things, and they're putting it out there. The problem is it's not on mainstream media.
Yeah.
You need to get that out of your mind, trusting all of the CBS, all these other things. Get that out of your mind. We the people. That's what it all started as.
Yeah.
Okay. We went through a lot of trials and error. We talked about before, having that hard conversation. We've had it and we're still having it, but they're trying to keep the conversation on us. Get on that Telegram that Mel has. I'm telling you, you're gonna get yourself stuck on it, because people are dropping so many gems and jewels.
Well, I'll tell you what, the biggest problem we had, notice I didn't say had as in like past tense, was all the scammers. The scammers are so toast inside our room. It's funny because Amber's got it down to a science. My boy Mirko, he's got it down to a science. He's my number one administrator, along with Javarka and all these people that are in there, basically doing God's work to protect the people and teach them how to stay in the room, not because we want to hold you captive, but there's so many scams out there. If anybody approaches you, say, I'm Mel Carmine, it's not me, it's someone else posing as me. And we got banners, for example, right? That every half hour, like a bus, boom, they're posting the banner, say, if someone approaches you as one of our administrators, or somebody tells you it's Mel Carmine, and it's got audio with it, it's got flashing, right? And it's constantly in there. We are probably the most hated room in all of Telegram, and the people who hate us the most are the scammers. Because in our room, you just hit a brick wall, boy. You just hit the,
I've heard some damnable things by people on YouTube about you. This guy. Sometimes they rarely would mention your name. I'm sure you know why.
You know what it is. It's I've caught them also in the act many times. I get invited to other shows, etc. And it's, this guy's. I got a stage name, just like everybody on YouTube has a stage name. I'm not allowed to have a stage name. Oh, his real last name is so and so, and he's a scam artist. And I'll say, okay, you know what? I'm going to give you your 5 minutes of fame. Can you show me one scam, one provable, that you can prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that I was involved with that scam? No. Crickets. Nothing.
Yeah.
Because there is nothing. It's all bullshit. It's all baloney. But these people, they're a bunch of parakeets. Yeah. Parakeets regurgitate what they hear somewhere else. They have no brain. They're drones. They're spineless drones. They have no life.
How many people I see, Mel, and I said it to a friend of mine the other day. I said, it's just odd to me that this YouTuber, that YouTuber, that YouTuber, that YouTuber, several of them have the same headline.
Oh,
I say,
yeah.
you tell me they woke up all out of the bed and they all just thought of using the exact same words for their headline? Come on,
Yeah.
signs.
Yeah.
You see it. And do yourself a favor, Americans. From now on, anybody that uses the word conspiracy theorist on you, change that CT to critical thinker. Conspiracy theory. But guess what? Even if you call me a conspiracy theorist, that's okay. Because if a conspiracy weren't real, there wouldn't be a criminal charge against conspiracy.
Oh, absolutely.
So conspiracies are real. And if I'm a person that can theoretically analyze a conspiracy, don't let them flip you that. If flip you that something is wrong with you being a conspiracy theorist. That is what you're supposed to do. That's what we, the people, mean. You're supposed to question your government. They're not supposed to be secret and telling you this is confidential. What the hell does the SEC, the Federal Reserve, got any business telling you except what you said, that they're private agencies?
Yeah. Well, it's all going to come to an end at some point. I feel, listen, I've said this many times before, and I've been wrong, but I never put dates on stuff, so I'm not guilty as charged in that respect. But I will tell you that I feel that we are pretty darn close. That speech that what's his name, Donald Trump did at Mar-a-Lago, that was unbelievable. Derek Johnson was recently on a show. I put the recording inside our room. I've been putting in there a couple of times. He also talks about the QFS, the quantum financial system that's coming. And he dissected that speech like it's nobody's business. And we keep putting it in the room because a lot of people need to hear that. Because what you have to understand, Donald Trump is perhaps the most cryptic, that's the word, cryptic president we ever had. You got to understand what it is he's saying is really not what he's saying. He's saying something else. And you got to figure it out. And there's not that many smart people out there that can figure it out, including myself. But I listen to smart people like Derek Johnson.
You know what I like about this whole thing? It's really real. Donald Trump has become very interesting to me. And I won't make any bones about it. I wasn't a Donald Trump fan. I'm not gonna lie. But when you start, again, apart from policies, before I even get to policy, if you tell me that a multi-billionaire who has a record of being with all kinds of people, from rap artists to dignitaries, okay? If you tell me that he's dumb, the things I hear, oh, he's stupid, he's untact, he's this and that, and you really believe he's untact? A man who has never drank?
A drop, not even a drop.
That's telling me that this guy is spinning me. I'm the one that has got to stop and say, oh, wait a minute. I thought you were like loony, but you never even drank. That means you been had to drop on me. Let's talk street. Right? You must have had to drop on me for the whole time we were doing our little whatever we were doing.
Well, you know what I mean? Just people don't understand. When you say he never drank, this guy doesn't understand what the flavor of beer or wine is. To put it in perspective,
but he's dumb. He's loose. Wait a minute. Oh, he walked in front of the queen because why? Because he didn't know what he was doing. Because he was untapped. Bonfire guy. Put me on that. I never heard of nothing like that. Please watch the bonfire guy with your mouth shut, without an opinion. Just watch it. And I'm not saying you'll come out believing nothing. I'm not trying to shill Donald Trump. I damn sure ain't trying to shill that other guy. But what I'm trying to tell you is, this person is far, or as they say, dumb as a fox.
Oh, yeah.
Shame on you if you think that a man who could rise up to become president and get kicked out because he's saying something. Everybody choose what you want to choose. I respect that. But I'm not going to be a puppet and follow something just because you misled our communities for decades upon decades, and there's nothing to show about it. Right. There's nothing to show from what this party has claimed they've been doing for us. Now, that doesn't mean the other party does. I'm just saying before we get to the party, you got to get out of the other one.
Yeah.
They're using you.
Yeah.
Our community, church leaders, our women, using you.
Yeah,
The
see, I don't think
that
yeah,
if you
I don't
dance with kids, that makes you like the community, or you got hot sauce in your bag. When is that going to become an insult?
yeah, I don't think going into Nasara Jasara, to be quite honest with you, there's going to be a Democratic or a Republican or an independent party. There's going to be a set of rules.
Yeah, that's
And
garbage.
those rules that are absolutely make total sense are going to be the rules that govern the entire world.
That's garbage.
Okay. Yeah, it's all going to go away. You're not going to need 95% of your police force because people are going to wake up and snap out of it. You're not going to need 95% of your government because people are going to wake up and snap out of it. There's going to be automation. There's going to be technology. There's going to be so many things that are going to come into play that you're not going to need this, big conglomerate. Just basically, there are people. Do you realize that there are people that work for government, in our government specifically, in the United States government, that don't even punch a clock? They haven't been in their office in months. In months. And they're making six-figure salaries on your backs. And they're at the beach effing off.
Mm-hmm. In your channel, I saw that the 4 pictures of Obama's house, Kerry's house.
Climate change, right? This guy's climate change. The water's going to rise. Trump always jokes. 1/4 of an inch in the next 389 years. Okay, and this guy buys a house where in Martha's Vineyard. Mm-hmm. He's like 5 meters above sea level, maybe 5 meters.
My first beloved black president. Love him as a man, but Chicago, where you're from, spent 8 years, never even opened his mouth to say the state of emergency, the most deaths of children under 24. Come on, man. What, am I supposed to be scared to say that?
No.
Why didn't you say it? And then when Donald Trump came to run, it burned me up because he openly said, we're going to do this for the black community. I said, well, wait a minute. Oh, well, Obama couldn't say it because they would have destroyed him. Really? You couldn't take a minute to address the community you came from and say do you know what your presence walking in Chicago would have done for black youth? You could have just stepped into the schools and gave children a sense of pride. Why not?
Absolutely.
That's all we need. We're very easily emotional people. You are our first black president, and after 8 years, you didn't even mention the crisis of black on black crime. And then another man comes in and speaks out and says, we're going to address the black community, the unemployment, whether he did it or not. Ice Cube wanted to sit down and script out a contract for Black America during a hot, contentious time. What did Donald Trump do? And what did Biden and Harris do? Donald Trump is supposed to be the most racist, but he sat down with Ice Cube. Kamala Harris and Biden ignored him, wouldn't even sit down with the man. But we're supposed to keep beating the same drum? And we're Democrats.
The fact that they painted that picture through mainstream media, these guys should be ashamed of themselves. This is the furthest thing from the truth. Donald Trump is the least racist person on planet Earth. Okay? He would literally have lunch with the iron workers and the sheetrock guys and the guys who spackle the sheetrock and the painters, all these people, because that's where he fit in. He felt at home with those people, the minorities.
You ready for this? Remember his interview with Oprah?
Oh, yeah.
Excuse me, you guys didn't know he interviewed with Oprah in the 80s?
Yeah.
If you listen to, again, this is me and my awakening. If you listen to the old Donald Trump speak, he doesn't really speak anything like he does now. He's much more, as you call him, cocky, arrogant. He seems like he's not really. When you listen to him back when he was younger, the man when he first said he may run for president. Remember that video?
Yeah.
I think that was Oprah. I'm not sure if that
was Oprah. It was Oprah. Okay. Because he says I would never rule it out.
Yes, that one. But his whole demeanor was much different. And that tells me, so what happened? That's almost like saying, why does George Bush Jr. have a Texas accent, but none of his other brothers or his father doesn't have the same accent that he has? He became a product of that society. So Donald Trump, like you said, he's mingled over his years. And I hear people say, oh, he went bankrupt. He's a bad businessman. Well, America's a bad businessman. It's not that he's a bad businessman. He just knows how to do business, because business only says move the chips. That's all it is. You don't have any more or any less. You just know how and when to move the chips.
Right.
Because that's what the dollar is.
Business is a science. Not everybody gets the science. That's why, I always say businesses don't fail. People fail. Because, if you know how to do business properly, obviously, yes, you do need the proper business location. Location is very important. And you need to know how to deal with people, and you need to know, basic math, and you need to know your craft, and you need to know your business, and you need to be real. And, if you treat people right and you get the right product, people buy you. They don't buy your product or service. They buy you first. And then if they like you, then they buy your product service second, not first. You can make the best pizza in the world, but if you're a scumbag, nobody want your pizza.
Or you can make the worst pizza in the world and be the best salesman.
Exactly. Exactly. Brother, it's always fun. We're going to hold you over for a little bit. Guys, don't forget, QFS1776.com, Unified TV, the gold, the silver, promo code for the gold and silver. Don't even waste your time looking for a cheaper price on gold and silver. We are direct to 28 mints. We sold almost $8 billion worth of gold and silver in the last 33 years. We got an impeccable reputation with the Better Business Bureau. There's not one complaint about us on the internet, okay? And we deliver the gold, the physical stuff, right to your doorstep. Don't even waste your time. And if you need a lot of XRP, just send us an email, all right? And we'll get you squared on that too. We'll see you on the next one. Don't forget to sprinkle us out there. Stay behind there, AJ. We'll talk a little bit afterwards. Thank you, guys. We'll see you in the next one.